Commander Jake Phillips was drinking his morning coffee when the alarms started screaming. He put down his cup and walked to the bridge of the exploration ship Frontier. The ship was small, built for deep space missions far from Earth. Jake had been in space for 3 years, looking for new worlds and alien life. "What's happening?" Jake asked his science officer, Dr. Lisa Carter. Lisa looked up from her computer screen. Her face was pale. "We're getting a signal, Commander. It's not human." Jake felt his heart beat faster. First contact. After decades of searching, humanity had finally found intelligent alien life. "Put it on the main screen." The image that appeared made Jake step backward. The alien was tall and thin, with blue skin that seemed to glow. It had 4 arms and large black eyes. When it spoke, the computer translated its words into English. "Please," the alien said. "We need help. My name is Ambassador Liseska of the Kelvanis people. We are part of something called the Galactic Harmony Coalition. We are dying." Jake looked at Lisa. She nodded and opened a communication channel. "This is Commander Jake Phillips of the human ship Frontier. We received your message. What kind of help do you need?" The alien's eyes grew wider. "Humans. We have heard stories about your kind. Some say you are warriors. Others say you are monsters. We need warriors now." Lisa stepped forward. "We're explorers, not soldiers. But we can try to help. What's threatening you?" Ziska touched something off screen, and new images appeared. Jake saw massive black ships that looked like they were made of bone and flesh. They moved through space like living creatures. Around them, smaller ships swarmed like insects. "The Devourers," Ziska said. "They came from beyond our galaxy 6 months ago. They eat everything, planets, ships, people. Our weapons cannot hurt them. Our fleets are destroyed. Billions are dead." Jake studied the images. The alien ships were huge, each one the size of a small moon. They had no visible engines, but moved faster than anything Jake had ever seen. Smaller creatures crawled over their surfaces like parasites. "How many worlds have they taken?" Lisa asked. 3 systems completely gone. 7 more under attack. They strip planets bare, take everything that lives, then move on. We think they are controlled by one mind, a hive. Jake had seen war before. He had been a Marine before joining the space program. But this was different. This was extinction. "What do you want from us?" Ziska's image flickered. "We sent messages to every corner of space, asking for help. We asked for anyone who knows how to fight, how to kill. Most species ignored us. Others said they could not help. You are the first to answer." "We're just one ship," Jake said. "We have no weapons except small defense guns." "But you are human," Ziska replied. "The few records we have about your species say you are different. You fight each other constantly. You have wars over small things. You create weapons for pleasure. Is this true?" Jake felt uncomfortable. When aliens finally found humanity, this was how they saw them, as violent killers. But looking at the images of destroyed worlds, maybe that was exactly what was needed. "It's complicated," Lisa said. "Humans do fight, but we also create art, music, science. We explore space to find friends, not enemies." Ziska made a sound that might have been laughter. "Friends do not help us now. We need something else. We need those who understand death." Jake made a decision that would change everything. "Send us your location. We'll come to you." "Commander," Lisa whispered, "we should contact Earth first. Get permission." "There's no time," Jake said. "Look at those images. How long do you think we have before they finish with your people and start looking for new targets?" Ziska sent the coordinates. It was a 3-week journey at maximum speed. "We will be waiting at Kelvanis Prime, our capital world." "Commander Phillips, I must warn you, the coalition leaders may not welcome you at first. They have never seen humans before. Your reputation frightens them. What reputation? Jake asked. That you are apex predators. That you kill not just to eat or defend yourselves, but for sport, for honor, sometimes for no reason at all. Jake looked at Lisa again. She was shaking her head, but he could see the determination in her eyes. They both knew what they had to do. We're on our way, Jake said, and Siska, you might want to prepare your people. If these devourers are as bad as you say, we're going to have to do things your species might not understand. What do you mean? Siska asked. Jake thought about human history. The wars, the weapons, the tactics that would horrify a peaceful species. You said you needed warriors. But humans aren't just warriors. We're what happens when prey evolves into something worse than any predator. The transmission ended. Jake turned to his crew. Set course for Calvanus Prime. Maximum speed. And send a message to Earth Command. Tell them we've made first contact, and we're probably about to start humanity's first interstellar war. Lisa started working at her station. Jake, what if we're making a mistake? What if we make things worse? Jake looked at the images of destroyed worlds, still on the screen. Entire civilizations wiped out in months. Lisa, these devourers have killed billions of innocent people. They're going to keep killing until someone stops them. But what if we can't stop them? Lisa asked. Jake smiled, but it wasn't a happy smile. It was the smile of a predator who had just found worthy prey. Then we'll teach them that humans don't just fight to win. We fight to make sure our enemies regret ever being born. The frontier turned toward deep space, carrying humanity toward its destiny as the galaxy's most reluctant saviors. 3 weeks later, the human fleet arrived at Calvanus Prime. It was not what the aliens expected. Admiral Ben Torres stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching the alien world grow larger on the screen. Behind him came 12 more ships, each one built for war. They were dark, angular vessels covered in weapon ports and armor plating. They looked like metal sharks swimming through space. Admiral, said his communications officer, the aliens are asking us to power down our weapons. As we approach, Torres laughed. Tell them our weapons are powered down. This is us being friendly. On the planet below, Ambassador Ziska watched the human ships with growing worry. Each vessel bristled with more firepower than the entire coalition fleet. These were not exploration ships. These were weapons designed to kill. High Counselor, Ziska said to the elderly alien beside him, I fear we may have made an error. High Counselor Vext studied the approaching fleet. They answered our call for warriors. Did you expect them to arrive in garden ships? The first human shuttle landed in the capital city. Colonel Amy Stone stepped out first, her hand resting on her sidearm. She was followed by 20 soldiers in black armor. The aliens who had gathered to meet them took several steps. Backward, Stone looked around at the beautiful crystal buildings and floating gardens. Everything was clean, peaceful, artistic. It made her uncomfortable. Places this pretty usually meant the people living there had never seen real trouble. Welcome to Calvanus Prime, the Siska said, approaching carefully. I am Ambassador We spoke before. Colonel Amy Stone, Coalition Special Forces, she replied. My people are here to assess the threat and plan our response. Dr. Peter Grant emerged from the shuttle carrying several cases of equipment. He was humanity's leading expert on alien biology and weapons technology. The first thing he did was pull out a scanner and point it at the Ziska. Interesting, Grant muttered. Carbon-based, but with silicon reinforcement in the bone structure. Redundant organ systems. You're built to survive, not to fight. The Ziska felt insulted, but tried not to show it. The Coalition has lived in peace for 3 centuries. We have no need for weapons. That's about to change, Stone said. Show us what we're dealing with. They were taken to the Coalition War room, a place that had been used for planning festivals and trade negotiations until 6 months ago. Now it displayed star maps showing the spread of Devourer attacks. General Zixnin, the coalition's military leader, began the briefing. The Devourers have consumed 3 complete systems. 47 billion lives lost. Their ships are organic, appearing to be grown rather than built. Our energy weapons have minimal effect. Stone studied the tactical displays. What about kinetic weapons? Explosives? We tried those. The Devourer ships heal faster than we can damage them. Grant was examining captured footage of Devourer ships. They're not just ships, they're creatures. Massive space-dwelling organisms that have been weaponized. How do you kill something that big? Diska asked. Stone smiled. It was not a comforting expression, same way you kill anything else. You find what it needs to live, and you take that away. Admiral Torres joined them via hologram from his ship. I've reviewed your tactical data. Your problem is, you're fighting them like they're ships. They're not. They're animals. What difference does that make? General Zixnin asked. Animals have instincts, Torres explained. They have fears. They can be trained, conditioned, broken. We're going to teach these Devourers to be afraid of humans. The alien military leaders looked confused. How do you make a hive mind afraid? Vex 2 asked. By showing them what apex predators look like, Torres said. Grant, show them the Darwin files. Grant activated a new display. It showed human military history, weapons, tactics, casualty statistics from thousands of years of warfare. The numbers made the aliens step backward. This is impossible, 69 said. These numbers suggest your species has killed billions of your own kind. That's just the recorded wars, Grant said casually. We estimate the actual number as much higher. Iziska felt sick. You slaughter each other for sport? Sometimes, Stone admitted, but usually for resources, territory, or ideological differences. The point is, we've gotten very good at killing things. Torres continued the briefing. Every human weapon is designed first to kill other humans, then adapted for other targets. We've spent millennia perfecting the art of warfare. These Devourers think they're apex predators. They're about to learn what real predators look like. What is your plan? Vexed asked, though he looked like he didn't want to know. Simple, Torres said. We're going to hunt them. The first joint operation was a disaster. Not because the humans failed, but because their methods horrified their alien allies. The battle took place in the Zarian system, where a small Devourer scout fleet was consuming the outer planets. The Coalition sent their remaining fleet alongside the human ships. Remember, General Zixnin broadcasted to all ships, we are here to drive them away, not to commit genocide. Stone, commanding the human ground forces, responded immediately. Negative. We're here to kill every single one of them. The battle began when the Devourer's ships detected the approaching fleets. The alien creatures were massive, each 1 kilometer long, with thick organic armor and weapons that fired living projectiles. The Coalition ships opened fire with their energy weapons, trying to disable the Devourer vessels. The human ships did something else entirely. All ships, target their feeding tendrils, Torres ordered. Make them watch their children die. The humans had identified the smaller creatures attached to the main ships as offspring or symbiotes. While the Coalition tried to fight the main vessels, the humans systematically slaughtered the smaller organisms. What are you doing? Zixnin demanded. Those creatures are not combatants. Yes, they are, Stone replied coldly. Everything on those ships is a weapon or supports the weapons. We kill it all. The effect on the Devourer hive mind was immediate. The massive ships stopped their organized attack and began moving erratically, trying to protect their remaining offspring. For the first time since the war began, the Devourers retreated, but the Coalition forces were horrified. They had watched humans systematically execute thousands of creatures that might have been children. You are monsters, Ziska said when the fleets returned to base. Stone looked at him without emotion. Yes, we are. That's why you called us. Grant had been studying the captured devourer remains. The hive mind felt pain when we killed the offspring. That's interesting. It means they're not perfectly logical. They have emotional responses. Can we use that? Torres asked. Oh yes, Grant smiled. Fear is a powerful weapon, and humans are very good at creating fear. Dr. Lisa Carter, who had been silent during most of the briefing, finally spoke. What have we become? We came here to help these people, and now we're talking about psychological warfare against a hive mind. We're doing what needs to be done, Stone replied. These devourers have killed billions of innocent beings. They're going to keep killing until someone stops them. But at what cost? Carter asked. Look at how they're looking at us. They're afraid of us now. Torres nodded grimly. Good. Fear keeps people alive. These aliens spent 3 centuries in peace because they never met anything that wanted to kill them. Now they have. They need to learn how to survive. As the human fleet prepared for the next phase of their campaign, a message arrived from the devourer hive mind. It was the first time they had attempted communication. Unknown vessels, the message said. We offer negotiation. Withdraw from this sector, and we will spare selected worlds. The coalition leaders were excited. They want to negotiate. This could end the war. Torres read the message and deleted it. Send them our response. What should we tell them? The Siska asked. Tell them humans don't negotiate with genocide, Torres said. Tell them we're coming for every last one of them. As the message was sent, Grant made a disturbing discovery in the captured devourer tissue samples. Admiral, you need to see this. These creatures aren't just feeding, they're learning, adapting. Each world they consume makes them smarter. How smart? Torres asked. Smart enough to be afraid, Grant replied. For the first time in their existence, they've met something that might actually beat them. Stone checked her weapons and smiled. Then let's give them something to really be afraid of. Lieutenant Sam Mitchell crouched behind a piece of twisted metal, watching the Devourer scouts move through the asteroid field. His squad of 5 humans had been hunting these creatures for 3 days, and they were having fun. Contact 200 meters, whispered Corporal Jenny Brooks over the radio. Big, ugly, about the size of a school bus. Mitchell smiled inside his helmet. The Devourers had sent these scouts to study human tactics. Instead, they had become prey in a game that humans had been playing for thousands of years. Martinez, can you get behind it? Mitchell asked. Already there, boss, came the reply from Specialist Tony Martinez. Just say when. The young Kelvanus warrior, Kethra, watched from a safe distance, horrified and fascinated. The humans moved through space like they were born there, using the asteroids for cover, setting traps, playing with their prey before they killed it. Why do they not simply shoot it? Kethra asked Dr. Grace Bell, the human psychologist who was studying the devourer hive mind. Because they're teaching it to be afraid, Bell explained. Every second that creature stays alive, it's sending fear signals back to the hive mind. The humans want the entire collective to know what's coming. The hunt continued for another hour. The devourer scout, a writhing mass of tentacles and teeth, began moving erratically. It knew it was being hunted, but it couldn't find its hunters. Now I understand, Kethra whispered. They are not soldiers. They are predators. Finally, Mitchell gave the signal. The humans attacked from 5 directions at once, using weapons that cut through the creature's armor like paper. But they didn't kill it quickly. They wounded it, let it suffer, made sure it sent every moment of pain back to the hive mind. Target eliminated, Mitchell reported. That's scout number 12 this week. Back on Calvani's Prime, the coalition leaders were becoming increasingly disturbed by human methods. They had received reports from every front, and the pattern was always the same. Humans didn't just win battles. They made sure their enemies suffered. They are using captured Devourer technology to make new weapons, General Zixneen reported to the High Council. Weapons that are specifically designed to cause pain. Ambassador Ziska had been having nightmares since watching human combat footage. They broadcast the death screams of Devourer offspring to demoralize the hive mind. What kind of beings do such things? Effective ones, said High Counselor Vexdu grimly. The Devourers are retreating from 3 more systems. 4. The first time since this war began, we are winning. Dr. Bell was making remarkable discoveries about the Devourer collective consciousness. The hive mind, which had consumed hundreds of worlds without emotion, was experiencing something new, fear. It's unprecedented, Bell explained to Admiral Torres. A collective intelligence that has never known individual death is learning what terror feels like. Every time we kill one of their scouts, every time we destroy one of their ships, the entire hive mind feels it. Good, Torres replied. Fear makes people stupid, and stupid enemies are dead enemies. But the breakthrough came when the humans attempted something that no one had tried before. Instead of just killing Devourers, they captured some alive specialist. Maria Santos led the capture team into a damaged Devourer ship. The corridors were filled with organic technology that pulsed like living tissue. Everything smelled of decay and ancient hunger. Movement ahead, Santos reported. Looks like survivors. They found 3 Devourer drones trapped under debris. The creatures were badly injured, but still alive. Instead of killing them, Santos ordered her team to provide medical aid. What are you doing? Asked the alien observer, a Kelvanus medic named Yathki. Something new, Santos replied. We're going to teach these things how to surrender. The captured Devourers were brought to a human research facility. Dr. Grant began studying them. Not to learn how to kill them better, but to understand how they thought. Fascinating, Grant reported after a week of study. When separated from the hive mind, these creatures develop individual consciousness. They start to think for themselves. Is that good or bad? Torres asked. It's revolutionary, Grant said. We might not need to kill them all. We might be able to break the hive mind itself. The implications were staggering. If humans could teach Devourers to think as individuals, they could destroy the collective consciousness that drove their aggression. But first, they had to survive. The Devourer, counterattack. The hive mind, driven by fear and rage, gathered its largest fleet and launched a direct assault on Earth itself. If they could destroy the human homeworld, they believed they could break human morale. They were very wrong. Incoming transmission from the Devourer fleet, reported the communications officer aboard Torres's flagship. Put it through, Torres ordered. The image that appeared showed the collective avatar of the hive mind, a writhing mass of tentacles and eyes that spoke with 1,000 voices. Humans, it said. You have caused us pain. We will make your species extinct for this crime. Torres laughed. You think attacking Earth will break us? You clearly don't understand humans very well. We will consume your homeworld and make you watch, the hive mind threatened. Go ahead and try, Torres replied. But I should warn you, Earth's civilian defense force consists of 8 billion humans who have been really bored lately. You might be giving them the most fun they've had in decades. The transmission ended. Torres turned to his crew. All ships, fall back to Earth. Let's go home and watch the fireworks. When the Devourer fleet arrived at Earth, they found something unprecedented. An entire planet that was excited to see them. Every human military installation was fully active. Orbital defense platforms powered up weapons that had never been tested. In real combat, ground-based missile systems targeted the approaching ships. But most surprising of all, civilian spacecraft were launching from every spaceport on Earth. This is impossible, the hive mind broadcast. Your non-combatants should be fleeing in terror. That's where you're wrong, replied Captain Rick Barnes, commanding a converted cargo freighter armed with mining explosives. We've been waiting our whole lives for something like this. The battle for Earth lasted 6 hours. It ended when the Devourer fleet, battered and broken, sent a surrender signal. We yield, the hive mind transmitted. We seek terms of surrender. Torres opened a channel to the entire Devourer fleet. Here are our terms. You will withdraw from all occupied systems. You will release all prisoners. You will submit to monitoring by human forces. And you will never, ever threaten a sapient species again. And if we refuse, the hive mind asked. Torres smiled. Then we'll show you what humans do for fun on weekends. The Devourer's surrender was broadcast throughout the galaxy. But for many coalition species, the victory felt hollow. They had been saved by creatures that terrified them almost as much as their enemies. Tra, who had learned to fight alongside humans, tried to explain it to his people. You do not understand, he told the Kelvanis Council. They do not fight to survive. They fight because they are bored by peace. War is not their last resort, it is their natural state. Dr. Bell's final report on the Devourer hive mind made disturbing reading. The collective consciousness has been fundamentally altered by exposure to human warfare. They now experience individual fear, doubt, and something resembling what we might call trauma. Have we cured them or broken them? Asked Dr. Carter. Both, Bell replied. They're no longer a threat to the galaxy, but they're also no longer what they were. We've changed them into something new. As the human fleet prepared to return to Coalition space, Admiral Torres received a message from Earth Command. Congratulations on your victory, Admiral. What are your recommendations for future human involvement in galactic affairs? Torres looked out at the stars, thinking about the terrified faces of his alien allies and the broken voices of his former enemies. Send more ships, he replied. The galaxy is a dangerous place, and someone needs to keep the peace. But as he said it, Torres wondered if the humans weren't becoming the very thing the galaxy needed protection from. 2 years after the Devourer's surrender, President Maria Santos sat in her office on Earth, reading reports that made her question everything humanity had accomplished. The war was over, the galaxy was safe, and everyone was afraid of humans. Madam President, said her aide, bringing in the daily briefings. We have 3 more requests for human military advisors, 2 applications for membership in the coalition, and 17 formal complaints about human behavior in the Outer Rim. Santos sighed. What did we do now? Admiral Torres's fleet responded to a pirate attack in the Vega sector. They eliminated the pirates in 4 minutes, then stayed to make sure the job was done right. The local government is complaining that our definition of eliminating pirates included destroying their families, their bases, and their entire support network. And the problem is, Santos asked, they think we committed genocide, ma'am. Again. Dr. Alex North entered the office, carrying a thick report. He was humanity's leading expert on galactic ethics, a job that had become much more important since humans started enforcing peace in the galaxy. Alex, please tell me you have good news, Santos said. I'm afraid not, Madam President. My study of human military actions over the past 2 years shows a disturbing pattern. We don't just solve problems, we eliminate them so completely that they can never happen again. North opened his report. The pirate clans in the Vega sector, extinct. The rebel movement on Proxima 7. Leaders executed, followers sent to rehabilitation camps that look suspiciously like prisons. The territorial dispute between the Alt and the Centauri. We ended it by making both sides too afraid to fight each other. But there's peace, Santos pointed out. Yes, but it's peace maintained by terror. The galaxy is quiet because everyone is afraid of what humans will do if they make noise. Commander Nick Davis knocked on the door. He had been assigned to document human actions for historical records, but his reports were becoming increasingly critical of human methods. Madam President, I need to discuss the Devourer refugee situation. Santos felt a headache starting. What? About them? Some of the former hive mind clusters are seeking asylum in coalition space. They claim humans taught them how to think as individuals, and now they want to live peacefully. But coalition worlds won't accept them. Why not? Because they're terrified of anything connected to the Devourers, and they're terrified of us for changing them. They think we performed some kind of mental surgery on an entire species, Dr. North added, which, technically, we did. We broke a collective consciousness that had existed for millions of years and forced individual awareness on creatures that were never meant to be individuals. Santos walked to her window, looking out at Earth's blue sky. Alex, Nick, I need you to answer a question honestly. Are we the good guys? The two men looked at each other uncomfortably. That depends on your definition of good, North said carefully. We saved the galaxy from extinction. Billions of beings are alive because of human intervention. But, Santos prompted, but we did it by becoming something that terrifies our allies almost as much as our enemies terrified them. Davis pulled out his tablet. I've been documenting every human military action since the war ended. In every case, we've chosen the most violent, permanent solution possible. We don't just stop threats. We make sure they can never threaten anyone again. Give me an example, Santos said. The Zephyrian trade war, Davis said. Two species were fighting over shipping routes. Instead of mediating, Admiral Torres stationed human ships at every contested jump point and announced that any armed vessel entering the area would be destroyed. The trade war ended in 6 hours. That sounds efficient, Santos said. It was, but it also established the precedent that humans solve problems by threatening to kill everyone involved. A communication alert interrupted them. The image of Ambassador Desiska appeared on the screen. The Kelvanist diplomat looked older, more tired than before. Madam President, Desiska said, we need to discuss the situation on Zarian 5. Santos knew this wouldn't be good news. What happened? A human patrol found evidence of illegal weapons manufacturing. They responded by glassing the entire continent. Glassing, Santos asked, though she suspected she knew what it meant. Orbital bombardment until the surface was turned to melted rock. 17 million people lived on that continent. President Santos, they're all dead. The room fell silent. Finally, Santos asked, were they all involved in weapons manufacturing? No, Desiska said quietly. Most were civilians. Farmers, teachers, children. But the human commanders said they couldn't risk the weapons falling into the wrong hands. Davis was typing frantically on his tablet. I can't find any record of authorization for that action. Because there wasn't any, Desiska said. The patrol commander made the decision independently. He said it was standard human protocol for eliminating threats. Santos felt sick. Desiska, I want you to know that this action was not authorized by Earth government. We will investigate and take appropriate action. That's not why I'm calling, Desiska said. I'm calling because the Coalition Council is meeting tomorrow to discuss the human problem. What human problem? Santos asked, though she suspected. She knew. The problem of having allies who solve every conflict with overwhelming violence. The problem of having protectors who are more dangerous than the threats they protect us from. After the call ended, Santos sat in silence for several minutes. How did this happen? She finally asked. We went to space to explore, to make friends. How did we become the galaxy's executioners? North had been thinking about this question for months. I think it's because we're what we've always been. We just never had to apply it on a galactic scale before. What do you mean? Humans have always been apex predators, Madam President. For thousands of years, our success depended on our ability to eliminate threats permanently. We don't just defend territory, we make sure no one can ever threaten that territory again. Davis nodded. Grimly. Every human military doctrine is based on the principle of overwhelming force. We don't fight fair. We fight to win, and we define winning as making sure the enemy can never fight again. So what do we do now? Santos asked. Before anyone could answer, another alert sounded. This time, it was Admiral Torres, calling from deep space. Madam President, we have a situation. 3 coalition fleets are moving toward the Sol system. They're armed and appear to be in attack formation. Santos felt her blood turn cold. They're coming to attack Earth. It looks that way. Should I intercept them? Santos looked at North and Davis. The question in their eyes was clear. If humanity's allies had decided they were too dangerous to exist, what would they do about it? Admiral, open a channel to the coalition fleets. When the connection was established, Santos found herself looking at familiar faces, alien leaders she had worked with, species humanity had helped save. This is President Santos of Earth. I'm told you're approaching our system with hostile intent. Is this true? High Counselor Vex II appeared on screen. The old Kelvanus looked sad, but determined. President Santos, the Coalition Council has voted. Humanity has become too dangerous to remain free in the galaxy. You're declaring war on us? Santos asked. We're hoping you'll surrender peacefully. Submit to Coalition oversight. Allow us to monitor your military and restrict your actions. Santos almost laughed. You want to put humanity in a cage? We want to prevent you from turning the entire galaxy into a graveyard. Vex II replied. Torres's voice came over the comm. Madame President, I have 18 ships. They have over 200. Should I engage? Santos looked at the tactical display showing the approaching coalition fleet. Ships from 12 different species, all united by their fear of humanity. Admiral Torres, how long would it take you to defeat them? About 4 hours, ma'am. Maybe less if we use the new weapons. The aliens on the screen looked horrified. Even outnumbered 10 to 1, humans were confident they would win. You see, Vexed said sadly, this is exactly what we mean. You don't even consider that you might lose. Santos made a decision that would define humanity's role in the galaxy forever. Admiral Torres, do not engage. Let them come, ma'am. Torres sounded confused. You heard me. Stand down. Let them reach Earth. When the coalition fleet arrived at Earth, they found something they didn't expect. The entire human fleet was waiting for them, weapons powered down, shields deactivated. We surrender, Santos. Broadcast to the coalition fleet. But let me teach you something about humans first. She opened a new channel, broadcasting to every ship in both fleets. Admiral Torres, please demonstrate our new planetary defense system. Madam President, are you sure? That weapon has never been tested, I'm sure. Fire one shot, minimum power. A beam of energy lanced out from Earth's surface, striking a small asteroid in the outer system. The asteroid simply ceased to exist. That weapon can destroy any ship in your fleet from this distance, Santos announced. We have 50 of them. We could have killed all of you before you entered our system. The coalition fleet sat in stunned silence. So here's what's going to happen, Santos continued. You can try to control us, and we'll show you what humans do to anyone who threatens our freedom. Or you can work with us to find a better way. High Counselor Vex II spoke slowly. What do you propose? We'll accept monitoring. We'll submit to oversight. But in return, you'll help us learn how to be better. Because like it or not, the galaxy needs us. And we need to figure out how to protect people without terrifying them. The negotiations took 3 days. In the end, they established something unprecedented, the Galactic Ethics Council, with humans serving as both enforcers and the enforced. 5 years after the coalition surrender, Ambassador Julie Harper stood in the council chambers on New Geneva Station, watching representatives from 47 different species argue about the newest crisis in the galaxy. The station orbited a neutral star system, built as a symbol of cooperation between humans and their alien allies. It was also humanity's way of saying they could build a fortress anywhere they wanted, but they chose to build a meeting place instead. The Krillian Empire is mobilizing its entire fleet, reported Ambassador Daziska, who now served as Director of Galactic Intelligence. They claim the Andorian Federation has violated their territorial boundaries. How many ships? Asked Admiral Frank Lee, the human representative on the council. 3,000 vessels, the largest military buildup since the Devourer War. Julie sighed. Even 5 years after establishing the new galactic order, species still thought they could solve problems with violence. They just waited until humans weren't looking. Options? She asked. Admiral Lee checked his tablet. I can have a human fleet at Krillian space in 6 days. Standard enforcement protocol. Which means? Asked Counselor Bexter, a young Calvanus, who had never seen human warfare. Daziska answered grimly. Which means Admiral Lee will arrive with 50 ships. Announce that the first Krillian vessel to fire its weapons will result in the complete extinction of their species, and the crisis will end in about 20 minutes. That seems extreme, Bexter said. It's efficient, Lee replied, and it works. The Krillians know we're not bluffing. Julie studied the tactical reports. The Krillian Empire was testing the limits of human patience, probably hoping they could start their war and finish it before human forces arrived. Admiral, what's our response time if we use the new jump drive technology? 18 hours. But using the experimental drive risks announcing to the galaxy that we have faster-than-light technology that makes everyone else's ships obsolete. Julie made the decision. Do it, but broadcast our arrival to both fleets. I want them to have time to think about what they're doing. Professor Emma White entered the chamber, carrying her latest research. As humanity's chief historian and cultural analyst, her job was to document how human involvement was changing galactic civilization. Ambassador Harper, you need to see this, Emma said, activating a holographic display. I've been tracking conflict resolution across the galaxy since we established the Ethics Council. The display showed a map of the galaxy, with colored dots representing various types of conflicts over the past 5 years. The good news is that major wars have dropped by 94%. The bad news is that we're the reason for both statistics. Explain, Julie said. Species aren't fighting each other anymore because they're all afraid of us. But they're also not growing, not developing, not pushing boundaries. The galaxy has become stagnant. Admiral Lee looked at the data. Stagnant, but peaceful. That's what we were asked to provide. Is it, though? Emma asked. Look at this data on technological development. Most species have stopped advancing their military technology because they know it's pointless compared to human weapons. But they've also stopped advancing civilian technology because they're afraid any advancement might be seen as threatening. Julie studied the display more carefully. Are you saying our presence is holding back galactic civilization? I'm saying we've created a galaxy where everyone is too afraid to take risks. And without risk, there's no progress. A communication alert interrupted them. The image of reformed Mind Beta appeared on the main screen. The former Devourer Collective had become one of humanity's most valuable allies, serving as mediators in disputes between species. Ambassador Harper Beta said in its strange, multi-toned voice. We have monitored the Krillian situation. We wish to offer our services as negotiators. Thank you, Beta, but I think this situation requires a more direct approach. Understood. However, we must report that our integration into galactic society continues to face obstacles. Many species still refuse to interact with us. Julie felt frustrated. The reformed Devourers had proven to be peaceful, intelligent, and incredibly useful as mediators, but most species couldn't get past their fear of what the Devourers used to be. How can we help? She asked. You cannot, Beta replied sadly. The fear is too deep. We have accepted that we may always be outcasts. But we wanted you to know that your transformation of our collective consciousness was not a curse. For the first time in our existence, we experience joy, creativity, individual thought. We are grateful. After Beta's transmission ended, Emma continued her presentation. This is what I mean about unintended consequences. We broke a hive mind and created individuals, but the galaxy won't accept them. We've saved everyone from war, but we've also made them afraid to live. Admiral Lee was reading the latest reports from the Krillian front. Update from Captain Morgan's fleet. They've arrived at the disputed system. Both the Krillian and Andorian fleets are powering down weapons and requesting mediation. How many shots did we fire? Julie asked. None. Captain Morgan just broadcast our standard message. Julie knew the message by heart. Every human captain used the same words. This is the human fleet. You have 30 seconds to begin peaceful negotiations, or we will solve this problem permanently. Choose wisely. That's what worries me, Emma said. We don't fight anymore. We just threaten, and everyone surrenders. What happens to a galaxy where no one ever learns to stand up to bullies because the biggest bully is on their side? Before Julie could answer, another alert sounded. This time it was an emergency broadcast from the edge of the galaxy. This is Captain Steve Collins, aboard the exploration vessel Pioneer. We've made contact with a new species. They call themselves the Hegemony, and they're asking about our military capabilities. Julie felt a chill. What kind of questions? They want to know how many worlds we control, how large our fleet is, and whether we've ever lost a war, Admiral. Lee was already pulling up star charts. How far out are they? About 6 months travel time from the nearest coalition world. But Admiral, there's something else. They don't seem afraid of us. Julie and Lee looked at each other. In 5 years of human galactic presence, no species had ever failed to be intimidated by human military reputation. That's impossible, Lee said. Everyone knows about the Devourer War. Maybe they're from so far away they haven't heard, Emma suggested. Or maybe they're so powerful they don't care. Collins continued his report. They've shown us some of their technology. Admiral, they have weapons that make ours look primitive. And they're asking if we want to join their expansion. Expansion into what? Julie asked. Into coalition space. They're planning to invade, and they want to know if humans will stand with them or against them. The chamber fell silent. For 5 years, humanity had been the dominant military force in the galaxy. Now they were facing something that might be stronger. Captain Collins, tell them we need time to consider their offer. Don't commit to anything. Understood. But, Ambassador, they said something else. They said they've been watching us for years, studying how we fight. They're impressed by our methods. Impressed how? Lee asked. They said we fight like they do. They called us kindred spirits in the art of warfare. After Collins's transmission ended, Julie looked around the chamber at the faces of humans and aliens alike. Everyone was thinking the same thing. What happens when the apex predators meet? Something that might be even more predatory. Options? Julie asked. Admiral Lee was already running calculations. If they're as powerful as they claim, a direct military confrontation could devastate both our fleets. But if we don't fight them, they'll consume the coalition. There's a third option, Emma said quietly. We could join them. The suggestion shocked everyone in the room. We could never do that, the Siska said. You humans may be violent, but you protect the innocent. These hegemony beings sound like conquerors. Are we so different? Emma asked. Look at what we've built. A galaxy where everyone obeys us because they're afraid of what we'll do if they don't. Is that really better than conquest? Julie stood up. Decision made. Admiral Lee, prepare the fleet. Full mobilization. For war, he asked. For whatever comes next. But Emma, I want you to do something else. I want you to study these hegemony beings. Learn everything you can about them. Why? Because if we're going to fight them, we need to understand them. And if we're going to fight something that's like us, we need to understand ourselves. As the meeting broke up and representatives scattered to their ships and worlds, Julie stood, alone in the chamber, looking out at the stars. Humanity had come to the galaxy as explorers. They had become saviors, then enforcers, then the very thing everyone feared. Now they faced something that might be even worse than they were. The question was, after 5 years of teaching the galaxy to be afraid, could humans remember how to be afraid themselves? The final message came from Earth, from President Santos herself, Ambassador Harper. Whatever happens next, remember that we didn't choose to be the galaxy's protectors. But now that we are, we have a responsibility to do it right. Julie looked out at the approaching darkness between the stars, where something was coming that would test everything humanity had learned about power, responsibility, and what it meant to be the apex predator in a galaxy full of prey. "Fleet Command," she said into her communicator. "This is Ambassador Harper. Prepare for first contact protocols, and tell Admiral Lee to ready the weapons. All of them." As alerts began sounding throughout the station, Julie realized that humanity's greatest test wasn't going to be learning how to protect the galaxy. It was going to be learning who they wanted to be when they met something that made them feel like prey again. The galaxy held its breath, waiting to see what would happen when apex predators met their match.